Hi, my name is Megan Itavle and I am the CEO of Lumo Interactive, and today I'm going to be showing you how to make a custom interactive koi pond. I'm using LUMOplay Maker, which allows me to make and publish as many custom interactive effects as I like using the Motion Maker templates. There are a number of different templates that you can choose from. All of them allow you to preview your effect in real time and replace the graphics. So anything that is a visual element, you will be able to change in Motion Maker. There are a select few that also allow you to edit the audio, and any effect with audio, you can edit things like the volume. So today we're going to be working with the fish pond interactive effect. I'm going to click Create. It will automatically launch a new template for me to edit, and I'm going to name my effect Tiny Koi. I recommend always naming your effect as the first step so that you can find it again later. The effects get saved automatically as you make changes, so you can click Save, and you can also close this editing bar if you want to test the entire full screen of your effect. And you can press Escape to return back to the main interface. At any time you can come back in and edit this. Once it's published, you can no longer edit it. So if you plan on making a lot of different versions of an effect or a lot of different effects every month, then it is better to upgrade to the LUMOplay Maker tier of the subscription. If you are only making one or two custom effects a month, or you don't plan on making any custom effects at all, then the Lumo Playground tier comes with 340 plus interactive effects straight out of the box, and that is the tier that we mostly recommend for schools and museums and for small businesses who won't be making a lot of custom effects. A reason that you might want to customize an effect is if you're selling custom experiences, say you're an agency or a brand, or if you have a play center and you want to be able to offer a nice add-on of a custom game or effect for, say, a child's birthday or for a party or an event where you want to celebrate something like a sponsor or a seasonal event. The very first area that you can edit are the overlays. I won't be adding overlays to my experience today, but I do want to go through them very quickly just so that you understand what they're all for. So the logo image is something that would sit on top of your experience and would not be interactive. It'll be there all the time, and you can adjust the transparency. The image itself should be the full size of your interactive display. So if you are producing something at 1080p or at 4K, you're going to be uploading a ping that is that size with the logo positioned exactly where you want it. If you upload a logo that's just a small size, or it's cropped to the size of the image, you won't be able to position it the way that you want to on the screen. So this just allows you to make sure that the logo appears in a consistent place every time your effect is launched, regardless of the resolution of the effect. The mask is a really cool feature if you want to create something that is in a regular shape. So if you wanted to make a round pond, or you want to make something that has rounded corners or an edge that is feathered, so that it looks a little more natural. This is something that happens in museums all the time. They don't want to just have like a big rectangle on the floor, so they'll create an irregular shape with a feathered edge. You would create that image as a transparent PNG, so it'd be a black frame around your effect, and that would give you a really nice irregular shape when it's projected on the floor. The idle image is mostly used for effects where you need a call to action. So if you need something that says play to start, if you need something that an image or an invitation to engage that disappears when people start playing with the effect, that's where you would upload your idle image. And it's the same thing. You want it to be the full size of your experience and the full resolution, and positioned in the place that you want it to be. You have the option to adjust the alpha. You have the option to adjust the timeout, which is how long it stays off the screen after people stop engaging with the screen. And you can turn an animation on or off so that it's subtly animated which is a nice feature to draw attention to your experience. So I'm not changing any overlays, but I am going to add my own background. You can add either a background video or image to any of the Motion Maker experiences. I always like to do videos. If you'd like me to do a short video on how I prepare these loops, I'd be happy to. I primarily use Adobe Creative Cloud, so a combination of After Effects and Premiere. But you can also purchase seamless loops online from stock video sites. So for this loop, it is something that I made myself. It has a sand texture in the background. And once it's uploaded, it will automatically update on the screen here so I can see it. And it's basically just a sand effect with a caustic overlay on it that gives you that sort of impression of slightly moving water, light coming through the water. And it looks really nice when I activate the ripples. You can test your effect in real time as you go. I'm using a touch screen, so I can actually touch the screen as well, which gives me sort of more of a realistic effect than moving the mouse around, but moving the mouse around also works. Now that I've changed the background, I can change the audio settings if I want to. So right now I've got my computer on mute so that I'm not recording the background audio from my effect, but if I wanted to turn off that sound, turn the audio, the ambient volume, which is like the sort of subtle water sounds in the background, up or down, or adjust the volume of the splashes, I can. And now this is the fun part. I can adjust all kinds of things about these fish. So I can add, I believe, up to 30 fish. Let's see here. And I can make them very small or very large. I'm going to opt for sort of on the smaller side. I can adjust what the variety in their sizes is, so I can make them sort of more of a uniform size, or create something where there's much more of a size disparity between them. And what this does is it creates a little bit more depth in your effect. So if you have fish of different sizes, it looks a little bit more realistic. But if you want to make something that's a little bit sort of more artistic, creating something where all the fish are sort of the same size can look really cool. And then I can make them move away faster if I want to. So that's actually a really neat effect because it exaggerates their reaction. I'm gonna bring this down just a little bit. The run speed is a little bit separate, so I can really make them dart away when I move. And what I want to do here is I want to make all the fish a very high contrast color, and red looks really, really striking against blue. So I'm going to just change the color here so that these are all bright red fish. I want to give this a little bit more detail, so I'm going to give it a little bit more variety. There we go. So now that I have my fish colored and behaving the way I want them to, I can adjust the ripples. So you can change the size of the ripples that appear so that they're quite large and they really make the whole screen react. And you can make them very small if you want to just create something that is a little bit more subtle. You can also change the density of the ripples, so you can have just a few of them, or you can crank this up and create something that is a lot more distorting. I like to keep it somewhere in the middle. And you can also turn the intensity of the ripples down so that the distortion is not quite as crazy, or all the way up, so that you end up with something that lasts on the screen for a lot longer and creates a lot more distortion. I'm going to turn that down a little bit. Duration is how long the ripples react on the screen, so they're going to stay on the screen a lot longer if you turn this up. I usually like to have them sort of disappear fairly quickly, because what happens then is it encourages people to continue moving. Lastly, you can adjust the shadows of the fish, and this is very useful for creating a more realistic effect or some really cool artistic effects. So that is obviously not going to look like a shadow. What I'd like to do is create something that really matches the color of the background. And again, you can turn this shadow intensity down a little bit, and that's going to create a more subtle effect. And that's kind of what I'm after here. Adjusting the light angle is really important if you have a light direction in the background image. So if you have a background image where it's very obvious that the light source is on one side or the other, being able to adjust the angles so that the shadows of the fish are falling in the correct orientation is really important. I really like to keep the shadows sort of close to directly underneath the fish, because in most cases in these installations, any light source in the room is going to be coming from the projector itself. So creating something where it looks like the light is hitting the fish from almost directly above is an ideal situation. You can turn the light intensity down, and the only thing that's going to impact are the fish themselves because they are 3D models. It's not going to change your background. So that's kind of a cool additional way that you can change the look of the fish very quickly, and also that you can match the color temperature and color brightness of the effect background. Same thing with creating the shadow, making sure that the shadow color matches the background. That's going to be based on the color temperature of the background that you're using. So I think I'm pretty happy with this. I'm just going to turn the light intensity back up a little bit so those fish are a little bit brighter. And then I'm going to click save. And the only thing I have to do in order to publish this is you can see here it saved my effect. It saved a nice thumbnail for my effect. I just need to click publish. And then it says once your app is published, the watermark will be removed and you won't be able to edit it. So that's important to note. You won't be able to make changes. So if you are making something for a client and you need them to approve it, my recommendation is that you set up a system that has a demo attached to it. You can attach a projector and project this on the ground and demonstrate it to them prior to publishing it, so that if they have any changes, you don't have to republish the whole thing again. Otherwise, if you do want to publish it and remove that watermark for testing, the best thing to do is to save your settings. So save a screenshot of where all your settings are, and that way you'll be able to go in and recreate that app with the changes that they request without having to guess. So I'm just going to click OK, and it will update this and upload it to the server and remove the watermark, and I'll be able to test it on my floor. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I enjoyed making it. The Tiny Koi app is available in our market if you want to try it out. And again, please like and subscribe and share this video. We really want to teach people how to make interactive effects more efficiently and more cost effectively. LUMOplay works with any type of projector, and it works on the floor and wall. We have a number of different templates and hundreds of apps that you can choose from right out of the box. So if you're throwing an event or you're planning a party or you want to make something cool for your gallery or museum, try out LUMOplay. You can use the code TRYLUMOplay on checkout to save 25% for the next couple months. So right now it is July 2024. So until the fall, you'll be able to use that coupon. If you have any questions, please reach out. Once again, our email address is info@lumoplay.com.